So, just in case you haven't seen it already, the Bears traded the number one overall pick for number 9, number 61, a first next year, a second the year after that, and DJ Moore. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a great haul. And I love it because the picks are really nice value. I think that's a fair return for number one almost on its own. And then I consider DJ Moore to be worth about a first round pick. I've heard some people say he's only worth a second, but I think that's a little bit low for him because not only is he a legit number one wide receiver, he is underpaid tremendously. I believe he's making 20 million this year, or he just made 20 million, and then for the next 2 years, he is only making about 16 million per year, which is very, very affordable for such a good receiver. And in addition to that value, he also adds a ton of value by letting you appropriately evaluate Justin Fields. And that is almost a value that can't be named because what is worth more than having the right quarterback? Nothing in the NFL. That is the absolute best thing you can have is a franchise guy. And you're not going to be able to tell if Fields is a franchise guy or not with no receivers. And they tried this past year with that, and we could see it was hard to tell just how good Fields was because he looked great as a runner, but oftentimes looked kind of hopeless as a passer as he was taking very long to pass, which was directly correlated with having PFF's worst ranked receiving unit in the NFL. So it was hard to get any sort of real insight on Fields. And now with Moore, he's going to have a favorite target that'll take pressure off of everybody else. And with number 9, you can either draft a receiver or trade back even further and fill out your roster holes that way. So I think this is a really good move. And if it doesn't work out and Fields, even with an improved starting cast, doesn't look like the guy, you have an additional first next year, which should be pretty high still. And when I say high, I mean just not a late pick. I would say at worst it's going to be in like the 20s, the early 20s. And then you're going to have your own first round pick, which if Fields struggles, that's going to be pretty high as well. So you can go get a quarterback next year as well. So this is a really nice move for the Bears. Assuming the Bears can get maybe one more decent receiver, it doesn't even have to be a Jackson Smith and Jigba or a Quentin Johnston, say. I think there'll be no excuses left for Justin Fields because in basically one trade, they went from a bit of a hopeless offense to one that could be pretty exciting. And I don't think the offensive line is really too much of an issue. They ranked 16th in PFF's pass blocking grade, which is higher than, say, Minnesota, the Chargers, the Seahawks, or Dolphins. And all of those teams had quarterbacks that really showed out. So Fields is more athletic than all of those guys, and he should be able to evade, the pressure then, obviously better than them. So I don't think the offensive line is really going to be an issue. I think Luke Getsy was a great hire as an offensive coordinator. Then you now obviously have an improving receiving. It's certainly not all sunshine and rainbows for the Bears, though. because they still need an entire front seven for their defense. With that said, though, they have the most salary cap in the NFL, and now they don't need to overpay for a wide receiver. So they should be able to fill out their defense, at least for the most part, with solid guys, if not a superstar or two. And Matt Eberflus has shown with the Colts as their defensive coordinator, he's going to get the most out of his guys. So I'm really excited for the future for the Bears. I think if they improve their defense drastically through free agency and through the draft, in a weak NFC, they'll be able to compete for a playoff spot, which might be a hot take, but I genuinely think they have that much potential to grow. That's my take on the Bears and their most recent trade. Let me know what yours are, and please be sure to like and subscribe.